Together we survive.
Pain as portal, queer crip magic, interdependence is power. Welcome to Held Together. I'm Xander Keller, and I'm in my bed, as usual. This bed that has gone from an isolation chamber to a community space. And I want to invite you in. Held Together is an invocation, an exposing, where we literally bring folks into my bed to talk about life inside a care web. A web that includes disability, queerness, sickness, neurodivergence, and the intimate realities of interdependence. I used to try to hold it all together, and now I feel held together. This is a recording from a live Zoom event where I bring a guest into my bed. So you may hear other folks besides me, my guest, and our host, Nora. In today's conversation, Raven Hinojosa and I dive deep. We explore our love and connection through ritual and magic, and how our relationship deepened and changed when Raven joined me in disability and sickness. We talk about ways to follow ease and pleasure while in pain, and what it means to evolve and unfurl while not fixing ourselves or each other. We want to choose life. We want to choose vitality. And that is not something disability can take from us. In some ways, it makes it more possible. Welcome to our care web.
Welcome everyone to Held Together. This is a behind the scenes look at how Xander has built, sustained, and has been shaped by their care webs. And today we have our guest Raven, and I am wanting to welcome Raven to introduce yourself and also how and when you and Xander met.
Hello. Yeah, I didn't prepare any introduction of myself. So, I'm a healer. I identify as a witch. I have some academic training in religious studies and psychology. And Xander and I met at a heavy spiritual retreat a number of years ago, and our connection has just deepened from there. I feel like the connection is around all the things that make up a friendship and a love, and also around disability more and more. And also, we've been in a lot of deep ritual together. So that connection feels like it exists on multiple kind of levels of consciousness. And I'm coming to you from Alameda, California, which is Ohlone traditional lands.
Beautiful. Thank you. I would love to invite everyone who's here participating with us live to answer in the chat how you found this event and what drew you here today to join us. And from there, a bit of a landing with you, Raven.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, let's get into a landing or a grounding. I'll make it brief. So I invite you all to arrive into your own bodies on the land that you are, and gift yourself a big breath and let that breath travel through your lungs and kind of energetically down the center of the body, growing roots into the land below, and feeling the welcome and connection and consciousness and loving consciousness that I have always found in the earth, no matter where I am. And leaving those roots intact, coming back into the body, and imagining now the heart space opening out in a web, in our own care web that we're creating in this hour. Imagine maybe like a golden threaded spider web connecting out to each person that's in this space now and in the future, so that we are co-creating this web of care in all times and places. And so just opening your eyes and coming back into podcast land.
Thank you, Raven. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If I don't know you, my name is Xander, and I'm feeling this, I'm trying to take in this moment because it feels really special to be here with you all and to be here with Raven. And I think from the moment that I met Raven, it was one of those immediate feelings of like, oh, this is powerful. This is really important. And I'm just feeling all of the threads that brought us into this moment, and then all the threads that each of us are connected through. It just feels, just taking it in. And I want to give us just a little bit of framing for this conversation. For me, in a lot of different spaces, there's a lot of talk about the importance of interdependence and what it would be like to remember village life where everyone has a role and everyone can contribute and everyone has needs and difference is valued. And I think like in the US context, we've gotten so far away from that. And there's a lot of folks studying it and trying to really think about how do we lean into interdependence. And so there are some theories and books and like academic work around it. And for me, I feel like I have less context for the real life, messy, beautiful relationships of it. And so that's my hope for this, is that we can kind of dive into like, what is it like in practice, in actual life? And it feels really special today because Raven and I both are experiencing illness and disability in our own bodies and experiences. And that's really hard. And it's also opened up so much for each of us and for our relationship. And so, hoping to really dive into some of what that means and what that looks like. And I think when we talk about the topic of interdependence, disabled people know interdependence because we have to. When you have needs, that make you not be able to do everything on your own, the veil of individualism gets lost. And it's not something we have to practice at, it's something that we just do. Or maybe we still practice at it, but it's forced on us in a way. And so I'm really hoping to pull some of those learnings through. And I know a lot of folks in this space also have so much wisdom around that topic too. And I'd love to make space for y'all to ask questions or to share things, so we can be a web and we can start to create a web. And the last framing thing I just want to say is I feel really hesitant to talk about some of this because I know it can be really hard. Because so many of us live in isolation and live with so many unmet needs, it can be really hard to hear about community and connection. And I just want to name that I know it's hard and it can be. And my hope is that together we can learn and explore and find ways to bring more community, more connection, and more support for all of us. I'm not just trying to be like, look at this amazing love. I'm trying to be like, what can we harvest from this that we can then seed into the ripples of the web that we want to grow? And I don't feel like my care web is like, oh, it's all perfect and everything's great. And I'm also wanting to notice the blossoms that are here and learn about like how did that flower grow and how can we plant more and build more together. So just wanting to name that tenderness and precariousness. And lastly, I'm gonna put a document in the chat and in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast that has helped me a lot as I look at and understand my own ableism and some of the language that I have just been using because it's been normalized that I didn't realize was connected to ableism. And so if you're interested in checking out that document, I welcome and encourage that, and together hope that we can help each other notice when we're bringing some of our ableism into this space and gently help to see how we can reframe some of the ways that we think and speak to be less ableist. Oh, yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Xander. Thank you, Raven. The title here for the conversation today, Rituals of Becoming, Magic and Disability and Transformation, how magic has shaped their relationship to disability and each other. So I want to just open up this conversation and ask this kind of big picture question to both of you. How has magic shaped your relationship to yourselves?
Well, I kind of want to, the first thing that's coming up for me is when we first met. I kind of want to tell the story of it. Do you want to tell it, Raven, or do you want me to tell it, or do you want to tell it together?
We can tell it together.
Okay.
Wait, but before we launch in, I also
Okay.
want to acknowledge that I'm really new to disability justice, and I think it's almost certain that some ableist language is going to come in for me. So I'm just going to ask your grace and acknowledge that I'm just in the midst of that process. I'm not permanently disabled. Hopefully, we'll see for myself. I go in and out over the period of my life, and so yeah, I'm learning, and I am, like Xander said, I'm both feeling the loss and the things that I've gained at the same time. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, same goes for me. Like, I know that ableism is still so baked into me and probably most of us. So I think trying to just be with that as we're with racism that's in us and homophobia that's in us, there's so much stuff that we've received and have in us, and how do we be with that? I think for me a big part of it is naming, like, this is in me, and like, how do I have a relationship to it and work with it instead of denying it. So I appreciate you saying that, Raven. Okay, so I'm sitting on a log away from the dining area because it's really loud.
At this retreat that
Yeah.
we met
Yeah.
at. Yeah.
Yeah. At this retreat we met at, I'm sitting on a log, like, far away from the rest of the people, which is like, you know, like where I like to sit and eat. And Raven comes and sits next to me, and I'm just staring at this piece of bread. And this retreat has a lot of amazing food and vegetables. It's like very vegetable heavy, and they have a baker there this time who's like making homemade bread. And I'm just marveling at this bread because it cannot possibly be gluten free. It is so bouncy, or like it does not, it looks so divine and not gluten free. I can tell it's not, but they said it was. And I mean, if there was ever a place to make magical bread, it would be right here with this homemade situation. So I'm just like, Raven comes and sits down, I'm like, I cannot believe this is gluten free. This is just unbelievable. And then I eat a couple of bites, and the the baker himself comes and finds us at this log because he knows that I can't have gluten. And he's like, I am so sorry. I mislabeled this. This is not gluten free. And I just like have a full body panic. My whole body freaks out. So I don't know how many people are gluten free in this space, but turns out Raven was too. She was the perfect person to be sitting next to. But I have these nightmares about eating bagels and eating bread. Like, it's one of my worst nightmares, and I freak out because I all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I just ate in a bagel, and like I get so scared. And so I was like having this whole full body reaction. And I've just met this person who's come to sit down next to me, and I'm like sweating and like about to have a panic attack. And do you want to say the next part?
Well, you were crying.
Oh yeah, I
You were
started
like really,
weeping.
really
Yeah,
crying,
yeah.
just fully in your body and weeping. And someone told you to go throw up. So you went to go make yourself throw up and came back to sit down. And I, asked if you wanted some contact, and I put my hand on you in some way. And we're close to a stream, this beautiful salmon egg populated, beautiful redwood stream. And so I asked if you wanted to go down there. And I just got sort of like an intuitive hit that what you needed was to get in some cold water and for me to hold your head. So I asked if you wanted that, and you said yes. So we did that.
So now I'm laying in this cold stream, and Raven's holding my head. And I think you were also channeling some prayer and like words of the river to like cleanse me and for my body to be cleansed. And it was a really magical and powerful moment. Um, the kind of thing I wouldn't do with a stranger typically. And I know some of you in this space know me really well and know how important cold water is for me. Cold plunges have been one of the most healing things, and I actually take a cold shower almost every morning when I don't have access to like a river. And holding my head is one of the most um, healing and requested things that I make of folks. King Saya has held my head more than probably anyone. Um, So that was really powerful that Raven just intuitively offered that as I'm in the midst of my big feelings, because those were like the two biggest medicines that someone could offer me. So that was our meeting moment. And since then, we've had so much, so much. And magic has been really central. We've participated in and created some really, really powerful rituals together.
Xander, I'm just remembering that moment now, and I think it might be a good entry into talking about magic. I believe at the time I was learning about the idea of yoiking, which is a specific indigenous tradition belonging to the Sami. So it was definitely just like, you know, an improvisation and a trying on for me. But the idea is to kind of sing something into being. So you were saying that I was making the sounds or the words of the river. And I remember that that's what I was doing. I think I was kind of both listening and calling into creation. So almost like a co-creation with the river and with your healing in the form of just like these improvised sounds coming out of my mouth. And I think that that's what magic is for me, and also what ritual is for me. It's an act of co-creation, and the co is our own human kind of consciousness and will, and the more than human things in the picture, the earth that you're on. Maybe you're calling in an ally, like the salmon that were in the river that day. And then it's also spirit, or the ground of being, the thing that the manifested world is arising out of. So all of those are kind of being woven together in co-creation in a ritual or a magical act.
This was just the start. In the full conversation, Raven and I talk about our relationship to magic and ritual, health versus vitality, the gifts of disability, pain and pleasure, and how we navigated me giving Raven long COVID. Click the link in the show notes or head to heldtogetherpod.com to subscribe for full-length episodes, raw conversations, and other behind-the-scenes goodness, like zines and original music. This is where you can also connect with us and me. I really don't want this podcast to just show a care web. I want it to be one. We're building it together, learning what that means as we go. Stay tender, stay tangled, stay held together.
Held together we survive. Held together we nourish. Held together we thrive. Held together we flourish. Held together we flourish.